On a regular morning at the building project site, the sun had just begun peeking over the skyline, and the labor force was already alert, primed for another demanding workday. Floating in the air was the dust kicked up by the footfall of the workforce, each ready for the tasks and trials of the day. However, on this particular morning, something unusual was about to transpire, an unexpected event that would alter their daily routine. The team leader, June, was overseeing the digging of a fresh section. The construction equipment made a cacophony of noise as the ground shifted under the control of the adept operators. Suddenly, amidst the incessant grumble of machines, a strange sound penetrated the scene, a sharp, distressed cry seemingly originating from the depths of the earth. The workforce stopped in their tracks, sharing a mix of bewilderment and concern. "Did anyone else catch that?" June implored as he tried to determine the source of the noise. Another whimpering sound, fainter this time, carried over the construction site, appearing to come from a freshly excavated hole. Pedro, a co-worker, exclaimed that something was in there, pointing toward the hole. June didn't miss a beat and sprinted to the location with others in pursuit. Instinctively, he knelt at the edge of the hole, straining to see the source of the disturbing sounds. When he noticed slight movement amid the thick mud and debris, his face turned serious. "There's something alive here. I need a flashlight and a rope, and I need them fast." Before we continue, if you're new here, feel free to support us by hitting the like button, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell to never miss our stories. He cautiously went down into the hole, using the flashlight as his eyes adjusted to the darkness. The light revealed a small, mud-drenched creature, its eyes reflecting fear. In a soothing tone, June reassured the little one, saying, "It's all right. We're getting you out of here." He slowly fastened the rope around the small, trembling form, indicating to the crew to pull it up gradually. The creature ascended from the deep hole, wet and caked in mud, until at last it was out and safe. The entire crew crowded around, a mix of curiosity and worry etched on their faces. Pedro proclaimed it seemed to be a young dog once he wiped off some mud for a clearer view. The little animal's body shook, clearly drained and terrified. Making an executive decision, June said, "We need to take him to the wildlife clinic. Let's give him a good cleanup and verify if he's hurt." With great care, they bundled up the animal warmly and placed him in June's truck. The ride to the wildlife clinic was fast but fraught with uncertainty. Their collective hope was for the young creature to recover, while they eagerly waited to determine what animal it was. Upon reaching the animal clinic, they were welcomed by the veterinary staff, who promptly whisked the creature off for examination. The crew remained outside, feeling nervous and worried, sharing accounts of how they stumbled upon the creature and speculating about the kind of existence it led before its unforeseen rescue. The animal clinic was a bustling space, home to a range of animal species being cared for by a devoted and passionate team. This newcomer brought both intrigue and haste. Accustomed to unconventional scenarios, the vets quickly sprang into action to attend to the fresh arrival. As June and the rest of the team gazed on, the small, dirt-encrusted creature was ushered in. They resided in the waiting area, anxious and impatient, as the doors to the examination room shut. The quiet was only marred by the hum of monitors and the soft chatter of veterinary professionals. Within the examination room, Dr. Helena, a seasoned vet, steered the team. "We need to cleanse this little one promptly," she articulated, seizing a receptacle of warm, sudsy water. With mild strokes, she started to eliminate the dirt enveloping the creature. As the layers of grime were scrubbed away, the creature's authentic look emerged. "Doesn't resemble a pup," Marcello, one of the assistants, remarked, furrowing his brows as he witnessed the cleaning process. "The physique and foot structure are distinct," Dr. Helena responded, engrossed in her task. "Let's see what lies beneath all this dirt." The creature, initially stiff and scared, started to unwind at the feel of the warm water and the vet's soothing touch. Its ears, previously obscured by the filth, now projected, manifesting a pointed and graceful form. Its fur, now meticulously cleaned, displayed a radiant reddish-orange shade. "Hold on," said Dr. Helena, taken aback by the discovery. "This isn't a dog, it's a red fox." The assistants exchanged astonished glances. "A fox? How did it find its way to the construction site?" Marcello asked, gently toweling the animal. "That's something we may never find out," Helena retorted. "What matters now is to take care of her and ensure she's in good shape." She carefully scrutinized the fox, searching for injuries and symptoms of undernutrition. Fortunately, the young fox appeared to be in a generally good state, barring a few scrapes and a significant amount of dirt. "We need a moniker for her," Marcello stated, smiling as he tenderly caressed the now purified fox's head. What if we go with Mutsi? For all the dirt we discovered her in? Dr. Helena nodded in agreement. Mutsi it is. Time to put together that name and prep her for a successful recovery. Back where the others waited, Joan and his crew grew more anxious with each passing minute. Finally, the vet Helena appeared, carrying a much cleaner and noticeably calmer Mutsi in hand. It's a juvenile red fox, Helena explained, her face adorned with a smile. She's roughly 4 months old, and despite her initial fright, she's healthy. The revelation left the workers flabbergasted. A fox. All this while, we were convinced it was a dog. Pedro burst out in laughter. But we're just relieved that she's safe. Indeed, she'll be all right, Helena comforted them. We'll ensure her well-being until she's prepared to roam in her natural territory again. Joan was beaming with a sense of accomplishment. We're glad we did what was needed and brought her here. Thanks a lot, Doctor. It's our duty to aid, was Helena's response, patting Mutsi. Recovery might take a while, but she'll certainly be prepared for the wilderness before long. As Mutsi was carried off to a comfortable resting space by the wildlife healthcare team, the relief and happiness amongst the workers were palpable. As they took leave, they had managed to save a life, and would cherish it forever. Thereafter, each day was filled with nurturing care for Mutsi, turning her into everyone's darling at the wildlife nursing home. Not only the veterinary crew, but the visitors too, were completely taken in by Mutsi's admirable charm and determination. Dr. Helena, who helmed the triumphant rescue, dropped in regularly. You're healing nicely, little one, she commented one day, lightly brushing Mutsi's forehead. Though Mutsi, back to her radiant self again, did not shy away from humans anymore, traces of her wilderness were still evident in the healing chambers. She had her niche equipped with toys, water, and nutritious fresh food. Alongside Helena, Marcello, too, made frequent appearances to check on Mutsi's status. Each day witnessed a healthier, sprightlier Mutsi, intrigued by her surroundings and their newness. A big grin split Marcello's face one day as he entered Mutsi's room while Helena was feeding her. We've got a little sweetener for you, Mutsi. His voice held a mischievous lilt, going down on his knees to be at the same level as Mutsi. Helena pitched in, disclosing, the workmen who rescued her are here. They wish to see how she's faring. Joan, Pedro, and a couple of others made their way into the room, their faces lit up in anticipation. Pleasant to see you, Mutsi, Joan chose to speak, moving ahead with caution. We're really happy to see your progress. At quarter speed, Mutsi moved towards them, sensing their familiar voices and odors. Pedro gently stretched out his hand, and after a brief pause, Mutsi proceeded, allowing her nose to explore his palm. She recognizes us, exclaimed Pedro, astounded. It's remarkable. Yes, her recall is exceptional, Dr. Helena responded, and because of your help, she's improving superbly. There was a joyful mood amongst the workers as they spent some time with Mutsi, marveling at her improvement and feeling a sense of fulfillment at helping save a life. Additional discussions were had with Dr. Helena regarding the process ahead and what was required for Mutsi to transition back to the wilderness. She needs a few more weeks of recuperation, Helena specified. The ultimate goal is to ensure she's fit and equipped for survival alone before her reintroduction. During this period, Mutsi's popularity grew exponentially at the hospital. Most people who came from various places for visits made time to greet her. They showed their love and support with presents and monetary contributions for her recuperation. The tale of her rescue resonated widely, touching the sensitivities of many. One day, while Marcello catered to Mutsi, he remarked to Helena on the unique impact she had brought to their environment. Every time he glanced her way, he was reminded of how seemingly insignificant deeds can manifest grand outcomes. Helena agreed with him. No, it's indeed factual, Marcello. She's a constant pointer to our purpose here, providing aid to the helpless and ensuring they get a fair shot at life. On the verge of complete recovery, Mutsi was nearly set for her wilderness reintroduction. Everyone, the hospital team and the construction crew who initially rescued her, was both eager and slightly melancholic to part with her. However, they understood it was what was best for Mutsi. She needs to be reintegrated into her natural environment, iterated Helena as she watched Mutsi frolicking with a chewy toy. The satisfaction derived from knowing they contributed to her survival was invaluable. As they approached the scheduled day of release, they made needed arrangements to facilitate her seamless adaptation to her original habitat. Dr. Helena and her staff orchestrated every detail meticulously, from picking out the perfect spot for her release to forecasting favorable weather conditions. Peter voiced their collective sentiment as they congregated to finalize arrangements. We're going to miss her, but the thought of her being liberated and content is paramount. On the day set aside specifically for her release, everyone involved was present. The hospital staff, the construction crew, as well as some spectators who had been following Mudsy's encounter from the onset. Mudsy, now vigorous and vivacious, was eager and prepared to set off on her new journey. Dr. Helena initiated the process by unlatching the carriage door and ushered, "Let's start your new chapter, Mudsy. It's your moment to re-enter your abode." Mudsy paused momentarily, scanning her surroundings as though bidding everyone farewell. Then, with an elegant, agile jump, she sprinted to freedom, quickly fading into the vegetation. In hushed tones and beaming faces, everyone stood still, watching the fox depart. "Have a wonderful life, Mudsy," Joan whispered as the fox disappeared from view. Wishes for a long and joyous existence followed her. As the days flew by at the wildlife sanctuary, Mudsy, the petted red fox, grew increasingly robust and self-reliant. Under the leadership of Dr. Helena, the animal treatment team closely tracked her convalescence to ensure she was ready to confront the wilderness. Each teammate had a critical part in Mudsy's recovery. Marcelo, with his endless patience and commitment, invested numerous hours playing with her and presenting minor obstacles to promote her inherent instincts. Helena, with her abundant knowledge, made sure all Mudsy's health requirements were fulfilled. Even the builders would visit the center whenever feasible to check on the fox they had saved. "She's practically prepared," stated Dr. Helena, observing Mudsy's adventure in a new yard designed just for her. "In a few days, she can be released." Joan and Pedro, who were at the scene, assented with cheerful demeanors. "It's amazing how much she's developed from the day we discovered her," Joan remarked. "She's a real champion in her recovery phase. There's no denying that Mudsy won more than just physical might. She instantly captured the hearts and minds of those around her with her story of survival and fortitude, turning her into a local sensation." The sanctuary's everyday routine included engagement and training sessions to prepare Mudsy to go back to the wild. Marcelo used toys and concealed nourishment to tempt the fox into utilizing her olfactory and predatory skills. He elaborated to inquisitive visitors, "She must learn to fend for herself. She needs to be ready to make it on her own." Dr. Helena concurrently arranged for Mudsy to have her final health checkups to ensure she was in pristine health. "All seems superb," she enunciated, scanning the results with an amiable smile. "She's ready for her next life chapter." The builders who first found Mudsy also participated in her release preparations. "It's our wish to witness her release," added Pedro, choked up with sentiment. "It was such an honor to partake in this journey, and we're eager to see her return to her natural habitat." Helena concurred, acknowledging their significant contribution. "You have every right to be there," she affirmed. "It was you who saved her life." At long last, the highly anticipated day of Mudsy's release dawned, and it was a splendid, sunny morning under clear blue skies, perfect for Mudsy's adieu. Amidst a secluded span of expansive woodland, safe from the bustling city and its hazards, a crowd convened at the designated point of liberation. Dr. Helena carried the vessel containing Mudsy, moving gingerly towards the release point. She whispered, "Are you prepared, young one?" Fully aware, Mudsy's bright, vigilant eyes held the answer. There was an indication she sensed something extraordinary was on the horizon. The construction crew, Marcelo, and the rest of the hospital squad were all present, anticipating the moment. As Helena gently unlatched the cage, Mudsy cautiously stepped forward, inhaling the natural scent and curiously scanning her surroundings. Helena urged her under her breath, "Go forth, Mudsy. This terrain is yours." The petted fox ambled a bit further, then accelerated with agility, swiftly vanishing into the greenery. Silent observation blanketed the group, their emotions a cocktail of happiness, sorrow, and understanding. They knew they had made the correct decision but were simultaneously mournful about the loss of a cherished companion. Breaking the silence, Joan stated confidently, "She'll thrive. She's resilient and competent." Pedro agreed, his eyes welling up with emotion. He confessed it was a privilege to share a part of her journey, albeit brief. Helena assured Pedro as she placed her hand on his shoulder, "You achieved significantly more than just salvaging her life. You reminded us all of the significance of empathy and the duty we bear towards all creatures." As they began to disperse, each member was imbued with a sense of self-satisfaction and a rekindling of their core purpose. Mudsy's tale wasn't merely concerned with a fox's resilience. It portrayed the bond shared between humans and animals and the profound impact seemingly trivial gestures of compassion can exert. Later that evening at the hospital, Helena and Marcelo reflected on the experiences of the day. A visibly touched Marcelo recalled, The day was phenomenal. Her absence will be felt. Helena agreed. Indeed, but the joy of knowing that she is liberated and content is our highest gratification. As Mutsi continued her life, darting unencumbered through the woods, the hospital team and the construction crew reflected on the remarkable journey they had been a part of. They harbored the knowledge that wherever Mutsi might be, she would be thankful for the care and the new lease on life they had bestowed upon her.